أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. إنما المؤمنون الذين آمنوا بالله ورسوله وإذا كانوا معه على أمر جامع لم يذهبوا حتى يستأذنوه. إن الذين يستأذنونك أولئك الذين يؤمنون بالله ورسوله فإذا استأذنوك لبعض شأنهم فأذن لمن شئت منهم واستغفر لهم الله إن الله غفور رحيم. لا تجعلوا دعاء الرسول بينكم كدعاء بعضكم بعضا قد يعلم الله الذين يتسللون منكم لواذا فليحذر الذين يخالفون عن أمره أن تصيبهم فتنة أو يصيبهم عذاب أليم. ألا إن لله ما في السماوات والأرض قد يعلم ما أنتم عليه ويوم يرجعون إليه فينبئهم بما عملوا والله بكل شيء عليم. الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم بارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.
Shaykh Hafidhullah, he started off by praising Allah and sending salat and salam upon his messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and upon those who follow them until the day of judgment and perfection.
نحمد الله الذي لا إله إلا هو على ما من به علينا من نعم الكثير الظاهر والباطن.
He said, we praise Allah, the one who there's no deity worthy of worship other than Him, because of what He has given us from the abundant blessings, those that are apparent and likewise hidden.
وها نحن نأتي على نهاية هذه الدورة العلمية.
And said, here we are coming to the end of this educational seminar.
الثالثة التي يقيمها معهد الفرقان.
The third that is established by Ma'had al-Furqan.
التي يقوم عليها الأخ الفاضل أبو عبد الله محمد نزيه.
That is established by the virtuous brother Muhammad ibn Abdullah Nazih.
أبو عبد الله.
Muhammad Abu Abdullah Nazih.
عبد الله بن نزيه. طيب. أبو عبد الله محمد ابن نزيه.
He said Abu Abdullah Muhammad ibn Nazih.
وهي عبارة عن استقبال لبعض طلبة العلم in أمريكا إلى الكويت سنويا.
And this is referring to the receiving of students of knowledge from America yearly to Kuwait.
أسأل الله أن تستمر هذه الدورات العلمية.
He said, I ask Allah that these educational seminars continue.
وأن ينفعنا الله عز وجل بها.
And that Allah benefits us by them.
ونحن في يوم الاثنين.
And we're on Monday.
الثاني من جمادى الآخرة.
The 2nd of Jumad al-Akhirah.
لعام 33 و400 ألف.
For the year 1433.
الموافق 23 من الشهر الرابع لعام 12 و2000.
That corresponds to the 23rd of the month of April in the year 2012.
وكنا قد قرأنا بحمد الله تفسير سورة النور.
And we have, with the praise of Allah, read Surah an-Noor.
ونأتي اليوم على آخرها في آخر 3 آيات منها.
And we're going to come across today the end of it and the last 3 ayats of it.
يقول الله عز وجل إنما المؤمنون الذين آمنوا بالله ورسوله. إنما تفيد الحصر.
He said, Allah Azza wa Jal says, verily the mu'minun are those who have iman in Allah and His Messenger. He says the word innama, as we translate it as verily, it gives the benefit of specificity.
والمراد إنما المؤمنون حقا الكاملون في إيمانهم.
And that which is intended by is verily the mu'minun in reality are those who are complete in their iman.
وهم أولئك الذين صدقوا الله ورسوله وعملوا بشرعه.
And it is those individuals who have had this belief in Allah and His Messenger and confirmed that by acting upon it.
فهم المؤمنون الذين آمنوا بالله ورسوله.
So they are the mu'minun, those who have iman in Allah and His Messenger.
يصف الله هنا فيقول وإذا كانوا معه على أمر جامع، يعني دعاهم النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ليجتمعوا لأمر يريد أن يشاورهم فيه أمر مهم يفيد يعني ينفع الأمة لمصلحة المسلمين.
Allah describes them here that by saying that they, when they were with the messenger upon an affair that was jami', or an affair that the messenger had gathered them up upon for something that had a benefit for the Muslims.
كان يجمعهم ليشاورهم في مثل أمر الجهاد.
As if he were to gather them up in order to seek their counsel in affairs of, for example, jihad.
أو أمر صلح مع الكفار.
Or an affair regarding a treaty with the kuffar.
أو أي أمر فيه مصلحة عامة للمسلمين دعاهم النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ليجتمعوا.
Or any affair that had a general or universal or a general benefit for the Muslims, the Messenger sallallahu, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would gather them up for this.
فصفات المؤمن حقا هم الذين إذا اجتمعوا مع الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم لم ينصرفوا عنه حتى يستأذنوه يطلبون منه الإذن.
So the characteristics of the true mu'mineen are those that individuals that when they gathered with the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they would not leave from around him until they sought permission from him and requested his permission.
وهذا من الأدب الرفيع العظيم الذي أمر الله به أصحاب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم.
And this is from the high etiquettes that Allah al-Azim had commanded the companions of the Prophet with sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
إذ لا يليق بهم أبدا الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم دعاهم الاجتماع ثم ينصرفون من غير أن يستأذنوه.
Because it's not suitable for them ever that the messenger of Allah would gather them up for an affair and then they would leave before seeking his permission.
فالله عز وجل يقول يصفهم بهذا يعني هكذا يجب أن تكونوا إذا اجتمعتم مع الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا تنصرفوا حتى تستأذنوا.
So therefore Allah Azza wa Jalla is describing them with this, telling them that it's necessary that this is how you be when you gather with the messenger, that you should not leave until you sought his permission.
ثم يوجه خطاب الله عز وجل إلى رسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم فيقول.
And then Allah Azza wa Jalla directs his statement to his messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, so he says,
فإذا استأذنوك بعد ما دعوتهم واجتمعوا عندك فبعضهم طلب منك الاستئذان فإذا استأذنوك لبعض شأنهم لمصالحهم الخاصة لظروفهم استأذنوك أنهم يريدون أن ينصرفوا من هذا الاجتماع.
He says, so when they seek your permission, meaning they seek your permission to leave after you had gathered them up for a particular affair, he says, so when they seek your permission, then give them the permission for the affairs, that when they seek your permission for some personal affair that they had or something that they had to do.
فرخص الله لنبيه صلى الله عليه وسلم أن يفعل ما فيه المصلحة فقال فأذن لمن شئت منهم.
So Allah allowed his messenger to do that which he saw the most beneficial with their regard. So he says, then allow those who you will from them.
وقال واستغفر لهم أذن له وادعو له بالاستغفار.
And he says, and seek forgiveness.
ادعو له بالمغفرة.
And he says, seek forgiveness for them, meaning allow them and make dua for them and seek forgiveness for them.
ختم الله الآية لمناسبة يعني الاستغفار لهم فقال إن الله غفور رحيم.
And Allah closed this ayat off due to the relationship of seeking, due to with something that had a close relationship to the seeking forgiveness for them. So he said, verily Allah is Ghafur Rahim.
الغفور والرحيم اسمان لله عز وجل.
So Ghafur and Rahim are two names for Allah Azza wa Jal.
يقترنان كثيرا في كتاب الله.
They come often together in the book of Allah.
الغفور الرحيم.
The Ghafur and Ar-Rahim.
وغالبا ما يتقدم الغفور على الرحيم.
And the majority of the time, the word or the name Ghafur will come before the name Rahim.
والغفور معناه أنه ذو مغفرة.
And the word Ghafur, its meaning is that he is the one that has this forgiveness.
وأصل المغفرة من المغفر وهو الستر.
And the origin of the word maghfirah is from mighfirah, which it means a covering.
ودخل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم مكة يوم الفتح على رأسه المغفر يعني غطاء الرأس الذي يغطي الرأس.
And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam entered into Mecca upon the day of the conquest, and upon his head was a mighfar, meaning he had that which covered his head or helmet.
ومعنى أن الله يغفر الذنوب يعني يستر الذنوب ويتجاوز عن صاحبها.
And the meaning that Allah forgives or has this maghfirah for sins is that he covers the sins and he passes over the one who did it.
ومعنى الرحيم أي أنه يرحم عباده سبحانه وتعالى يوصل لهم الرحمة.
And the meaning of Rahim, it means that he has mercy upon his servants subhanahu, so he connects this mercy to them.
ويكرمهم برحمته بأنواع النعم.
So he honors them and is generous to them by way of his with his mercy with the different types of blessings.
والغفور رحيم إذا اقترن في جملة واحدة صار الغفور معنى وللرحيم معنى.
And Ghafur and Rahim, if they came in one sentence together, then it now will be that Ghafur has a meaning and Rahim has a meaning.
فالغفور مع اقترانه بالرحيم.
So the Ghafur, when it comes connected with Rahim,
معناه أن الله عز وجل يستر الذنب ويتجاوز عن صاحبه.
the meaning of it here is that Allah would cover the sin and pass over the one who did it.
ثم يرحمه يعني يكرمه بأنواع النعم، يغفر له ثم يرحمه.
So and then as far as having mercy upon him, that he will he will honor him with the different types of blessings, and so therefore he'll cover him and likewise he'll honor him.
هكذا يكون مع كل منهما عندما يقترن الغفور بالرحيم.
So this is how the meaning of each of them would be when they came together, Ghafur and Rahim.
لكن لو ذكر الغفور وحده.
But if Ghafur was mentioned by itself,
يعني في جملة الغفور من غير أن يذكر الرحيم.
Meaning in a sentence, or to say Ghafur without mentioning with it Rahim.
أو ذكر الرحيم من غير أن يذكر الغفور.
Or Rahim was mentioned without mentioning Al-Ghafur.
فيكون لكل منهما معناه ومعنى الكلمة الثانية.
He says, so in this situation, each of them would have its meaning and the meaning of the other.
مثلا يقول الله وكان بالمؤمنين رحيما. رحيما شوف قال رحيما لم يقل ايش غفور رحيم قال رحيما. فيكون معنى رحيما أنه يغفر ويرحم.
And so for example, Allah says the translation that verily Allah with the mu'mineen was Rahim. He says in here, if you notice that Allah said Rahim, He didn't mention with it Ghafur. And so here the word Rahim means He has mercy, or at the same time He forgives.
وإذا قال الله عز وجل إني لغفار. غفار يعني يغفر ويرحم.
He says, and when Allah Azza wa Jalla says the translation, and verily I am Ghaffar, meaning Ghaffar, I have forgiveness and I have mercy and I give mercy.
ماذا يسمى مثل هذا؟
What is this called?
يقال هذا إذا اجتمع في جملة إذا اجتمع تفرقا صار كل واحد له معنى خاص به.
He said that
إذا اجتمع تفرقا كل واحد كل اسم له معنى خاص به.
He said this is when they come together, then their meanings are separate or different, meaning that when they're brought in the same sentence or context, then they have separate meanings. And, no.
وإذا انفرد ذكر أحدهما اجتمع يعني يدل على معناه ومعنى الاسم الثاني.
He says, but if they are brought alone, meaning each of these words, if they're brought alone, then they have their meaning as well as proving the meaning of the other.
وهذا يأتي كثيرا.
And this happens often, or this occurs often.
إذا اجتمع تفرق في المعنى.
If the two words are united or come together, then they have separate meanings.
وإذا تفرق أي ذكر أحدهما فقط ولم يذكر الآخر فيدل على المعنيين.
And if they are separate, meaning they weren't mentioned in conjunction, instead each of them was mentioned by itself, then it has the meaning of both of them.
هذا واضح؟
Is this clear?
سأوضحه بمثالين ثلاثة.
I'm going to clarify with 2 or 3 examples.
طيب مثلا الإسلام والإيمان.
So for example, Islam and Iman.
فالإسلام قال مسلمون يعني مؤمنون.
So Islam, when they say Muslimun, they mean the Mu'minun.
المؤمنون معناها المؤمنون المسلمون.
And when they say Mu'minun, the meaning of Mu'minun is Muslimun.
لكن إذا ذكر الإسلام والإيمان في جملة واحدة.
But if Islam and Iman are mentioned in the same sentence,
فالإسلام هو ما كان ظاهرا من شعائر الدين.
Then Islam now becomes that which was apparent from the sha'air of the religion.
والإيمان ما كان معتقدات باطنة في القلب.
And as far as Iman, then this is those aqidah that are hidden in the heart.
فالسؤال الآن هل هو الإيمان هو الإسلام والإسلام هو الإيمان أو بينهما فرق؟
So now the question is Islam Iman and Iman Islam, or is there a difference between the two of them?
بينهم فرق وليس بينهم فرق.
Is there a difference between the two of them, or is there no difference between the two of them?
إذا قلت بينهم فرق أخطأت.
If you said there's a difference between the two of them, you made a mistake.
وإذا قلت لا فرق بينهما أخطأت.
And if you said there's no difference between the two of them, then you made a mistake.
لكن الجواب صحيح.
But the correct answer is,
إذا ذكر معا في جملة واحدة فبينهم فرق.
if they were mentioned together in the same sentence, then then they have a difference in meaning.
وإذا ذكر أحدهما دون أن يذكر الآخر فلا فرق بينهم. المسلم مؤمن والمؤمن مسلم.
But if they were mentioned alone in the context without mentioning the other, then there's no difference between them. So the Muslim is the mu'min and the mu'min is the Muslim.
مثال آخر.
Another example.
الفقراء والمساكين.
The word al-fuqara wal-masakin.
الفقير والمسكين.
Yani the faqir and the miskin.
إذا ذكر الفقراء والمساكين في جملة واحدة.
If the fuqara and the masakin are mentioned in one sentence,
فبينهم فرق في المعنى.
then there's a difference in the meaning between them.
فالفقير أقل حاجة ويعني أو أشد حاجة من المسكين.
So the faqir has more need than the miskin.
واضح؟
Is that clear?
الفقير أشد حاجة من المسكين.
So the faqir is more in need than the miskin.
لكن إذا قال الله عز وجل فيطعم 60 مسكينا.
But when Allah Azza wa Jalla says then feed 60 miskin,
ذكر المسكين ولم يذكر الفقير.
He mentions the miskin but He didn't mention the faqir.
فما المراد هنا بالمسكين؟
So what is intended now by the word miskin?
الفقراء والمساكين.
The fuqara and the masakin.
لكن إذا ذكرهم معا في جملة واحدة.
But if he was to mention them together in one sentence,
كما في قوله إنما الصدقات للفقراء والمساكين.
like in his statement, the translation of it is verily the sadaqah is to the fuqara and the masakin.
فهنا معنى الفقراء يعني ما كانوا أشد حاجة من المساكين.
So here the meaning of fuqara is those that are in more of the need than the masakin.
العليم الخبير هل بينهم فرق؟
Al-Alim al-Khabir, is there any difference between the two of them?
إذا ذكر بجملة واحدة بينهم فرق.
If they're mentioned in the same sentence, then there's a difference between the two.
إذا ذكر أحدهما دون الآخر فمعناهما واحد.
If they are mentioned alone without the mentioning of the other, then their meaning is the same.
فالعليم الخبير إذا اجتمع العليم يعني بظواهر الأمور. الخبير يعني بواطن الأمور.
So Alim al-Khabir, if they're mentioned together, then Alim is that which has to do with knowledge to the apparent affairs, and Khabir is that which has to do with awareness to the bawatin, meaning the hidden affairs.
لكن إذا قال الله عز وجل إن الله بكل شيء عليم.
But if Allah Azza wa Jalla says that He has knowledge about everything,
فما معنى إن الله بكل شيء عليم؟
so what is the meaning that Allah has knowledge about everything?
يعني عليم بظواهر الأمور وبواطنها.
Meaning that Allah has knowledge about the apparent affairs as well as the hidden ones.
ما معنى وكان الله بما تعملون خبيرا؟
And what is the meaning of that? The translation of it, and verily Allah, and Allah was about that which you were doing, well informed.
يعني يعلم ظواهر الأمور وبواطنها.
Meaning He knows that which was apparent from the affairs, and likewise that which was hidden.
لكن ما معنى إن الله عليم خبير وكان الله عليما خبيرا استمع في جملة واحدة.
But what is the meaning of the statement, verily Allah is Alimun Khabir, or that verily Allah has always been Aliman Khabira?
معناهم إيش؟
What's their meaning?
عليم بظواهر الأمور وخبير بخفايا الأمور.
Alim with the apparent affairs and Khabir with the hidden affairs.
واضح؟
Is that clear?
واضح وليس واضح؟
Is it clear or not clear?
إذا قيل الآن فلان أمريكي.
If we said now so and so is an American,
يشمل كل واحد في أمريكا.
it includes everyone in America.
لكن إذا قلت فلان من الشرق وفلان من الغرب صار الشرق غير الغرب.
So if we said that such and such is from the west or from the east, then there's a difference now between the west and the east.
أو فلان من نيويورك فلان من شيكاغو هذا غير وهذا غير.
Or as such and such is from New York and such is from Chicago. This is the difference between these two.
واحد من نيوجيرسي واحد من شو اسمه هذا؟ سانت لويس هذا غير هذا.
He said,
لكن إذا قلت فلان أمريكي فكله أمريكي.
He said, so New Jersey and St. Louis, this is different than that. But if you said America, then American, then this includes all of America.
هكذا الكلمات إذا اجتمعت قد يكون لكل واحدة معنى مستقل عن الأخرى.
He said, so likewise the words, if they come by themselves, then the word might have the meaning of other words with it.
لكن إذا ذكر أحدهما دون أن يذكر الآخر فيشمل المعنى.
Or should I say the opposite? If the word comes together, then each meaning will have its own. But if it's mentioned by itself, then the word will have the meanings of other than it.
ثم يقول الله عز وجل لا تجعلوا دعاء الرسول بينكم كدعاء بعضكم بعضا.
Then Allah Azza wa Jalla says, don't make the calling of the messenger between you the same way you call each other.
الدعاء يعني النداء كما تقول مصطفى سعيد دعاء تدعوه يعني تناديه.
He says the word dua here means nida, the same way that you will call out to individuals like Mustafa or Sa'id. The dua here means to nadi, to call, to call to.
تقول ساجد هشام هذا يعني تنادي.
He says, so this is a calling.
الله عز يقول لا تنادوا الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم عندما تنادوه فتقول يا محمد يا محمد لا تفعلوا ذلك.
So Allah, He says, don't call the messenger when you all call them. So you would say like, oh Muhammad, oh Muhammad.
وإنما أدعوه بصفة النبوة أو الرسالة فقل يا رسول الله يا نبي الله.
Instead, call upon him or call him with the characteristics of prophethood, or the prophethood or messengership. So you would say, "O Messenger of Allah, O Prophet of Allah."
ولذلك من الأدب أن ينادى الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم بيا رسول الله ويا نبي الله بخلاف ما كان يقصد المنافقون بقولهم يا محمد يا محمد أنت تقاصا له.
He said, it's for this reason, it's from the etiquette that when you call, when the messenger was called, he should be called with the O Messenger of Allah, O Prophet of Allah. In contrast to that which was done by the hypocrites, when they would call him, they would say, "Oh Muhammad," as a way of lowering his affair.
ويحتمل أن المعنى إذا دعاكم الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم قال تعالوا اجتمعوا فلا تجعلوا دعاءه لكم ودعوته إليكم لأن تجتمعوا كدعاء واحد آخر. الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا دعاكم يجب عليكم الحضور والاجتماع، بينما دعاكم غيره إن شئت أن تذهبوا وإن شئت أن لا تذهبوا.
He said, and the meaning also carries the possibility of meaning that if the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam were to call you to come together or to gather and unite, then don't make the call that he gave you to do this the way that the call of others of you would be with each other. Meaning that when the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam calls you to something, it's upon you to, it's obligatory upon you to answer. While if other than him was to call upon you, then you can answer him if you wished or not respond.
أي المعنيين الصحيح؟
Which of the two meanings is correct?
لا تجعل دعاء الرسول فتقول يا محمد يا محمد كما ينادي أحدكم يا مصطفى يا سعيد ونادوه يا رسول الله يا نبي الله.
He said that you say that don't make the call of the prophet, meaning that you call him the way that you say oh Muhammad, the way that you call each other, but instead you should say oh Messenger of Allah.
أو لا تجعل دعاءه يعني إذا دعاكم لتجتمعوا فاستجابة دعاء الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم واجبة بخلاف دعاء بعضنا لبعض.
He said, or don't make his call upon you, meaning that if he calls you to gather together, that it's obligatory upon you to answer. So his calling upon you is not to be made the same way how each of us call upon each other.
المعنى صحيح.
Which of the two meanings is correct?
كلاهما.
Both of them.
كلاهما صحيح.
Both of them are sahih.
لكن الأقرب في مثل هذا الموضوع الآن يعني إذا دعاكم الرسول للاجتماع، الآن الكلام عن الاستئذان الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم وعن إذا دعاكم وإذا اجتمعتم وعن الذين يخرجون من غير استئذان، فالكلام كله عن إيش؟ الاجتماع إلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم والجلوس عنده.
He says, but that which is more likely based on the context or the topic that is being addressed right now is because all of it is dealing with the gathering and the call of the messenger if he was to call you to gather together and is seeking his permission before you leave, and all of this is having to do with that same focus.
كان بعض المنافقين إذا دعاهم الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم للاجتماع واستمعوا بعض الكلام ثم تسللوا يعني خرجوا خفية من غير أن يستأذنوا.
He says some of the munafiqeen, if the Prophet ﷺ was to call them to come together, they would come to listen to some of what was said, and then they would yatasallalun, meaning they would leave in secrecy and in quietness.
والله عز وجل قد يعلم الله الذين يتسللون منكم لواذا أي هروبا من الاجتماع مع النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام.
And so Allah, he says, verily, the translation is verily Allah knows those of you who used to yatasallalun, meaning used to leave in secrecy, liwadan, meaning fleeing from that which was being said by the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
هل الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم يعلم بهم؟
Did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam know about them?
قد لا يعلم بهم إذا خرجوا خفية من الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم، ما يعلم الغيب.
Meaning, the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam might not know about them if they left in secrecy because he didn't know the unseen.
لكن الله يعلم ذلك.
But Allah knows that.
ويخبر رسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم عن ذلك.
And he would inform his Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam about that.
فقال الله عز وجل للمنافقين وللمسلمين وللجميع فليحذر الذين يخالفون عن أمره، أي أمر الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم.
So Allah Azza wa Jal, he says to the munafiqeen as well as the muslimin as well as all of mankind, so let them beware those who go against his command, meaning that go against or oppose the command of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
إن خالفوه فليحذروا وإلا أن تصيبهم فتنة أي تصيبهم محنة ومصيبة كبيرة.
He said to disobey him, then they should take precautions, because if not, then they would be afflicted with a fitna, meaning they would be put in a test and a fitna.
وفسر بعض العلم أن تصيبهم فتنة أي أن يقعون في الشرك فيهلكون حينئذ.
And some of the people of knowledge explained this, that they would be afflicted with a fitna, meaning that they would fall into shirk and therefore be destroyed because of it.
أو يصيبهم عذاب أليم يعني إما في الدنيا أو في الآخرة أو في الدنيا والآخرة بسبب مخالفتهم لأمر رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم.
Or that they would be afflicted with a painful punishment in the dunya or the akhirah, or the dunya and the akhirah, due to their going against the command of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
ثم قال جل وعلا ألا إن لله ما في السماوات والأرض. ألا حرف الاستفتاح، ألا حتى ينتبه السامع ثم يقول له إن لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض.
He says, then Allah Azza wa Jalla says, the translation of it is verily to Allah belongs that which is in the sky and the earth. And in the Arabic it starts with the statement Allah, and Allah here is called a harf istiftah, or a particle used to open the gates, if you will, or to draw attention, that you would say Allah to draw the attention, and then you would say to Allah belongs that which is in the skies and the earth.
فبعد ما نبه الله عز بقوله ألا حرف التنبيه ولفت النظر السامع حتى يلتفت المتكلم قال إن لله ما في السماء خلقا وملكا وتدبيرا.
He says, so after Allah had opened this address off with the statement, or the statement off with the word Allah, which is the particle of drawing attention and turning and redirecting focus to draw the people's attention to it, he says, to Allah belongs that which is in the sky and the earth, meaning belonging to Him as the creation and as that which He owns and as that which He regulates its affairs.
قد يعلم ما أنتم عليه أي من أعمال وأحوال وأقوال فالله لا تخفى عليه منكم خافية.
Indeed, He knows that which you are upon from statements and actions and beliefs. So Allah's nothing is hidden, no small thing is hidden from Him.
ويوم يرجعون إليه أي يوم القيامة إن الله يقول إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون فكلنا راجع إلى الله عز وجل ويوم يرجعون إليه فينبئهم بما عملوا يخبرهم عن أعمالهم التي عملوها في الدنيا.
He says, in the day they return to Him, meaning the day of judgment, because because we say, to Allah we belong and to Allah we return. So all of us are returning to Allah, and so the day that we return to Him and He informs us, meaning He tells us about that which we used to do in the dunya.
والله بكل شيء عليم فلا تخفى عليه خافية من أعمالنا وأقوالنا الظاهرة والباطنة.
And Allah knows everything, so nothing is hidden from Him, from the actions or the statements, those that are apparent or hidden.
تم تفسير سورة النور والحمد لله رب العالمين.
He says, we completed the Tafseer Surah an-Noor walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
في أحد عنده سؤال؟
Does anybody have any questions?
عما يتعلق في الدرس أو خارج الدرس؟
On that which has to do with the dose or outside the dose?
لكم half hour.
He says, you all get a half hour.
تفضل.
بالنسبة للملعنة هل هذا يكون من النساء على الرجال؟
يسأل السائل يقول بالنسبة لحكم الملاعنة.
The question he asked about the ruling pertaining to the affair of mula'ana.
نذكركم ما هي الملاعنة.
First we're going to remind you what is mula'ana.
هو أن يتهم الزوج زوجته بالزنا.
He says it is that a husband accuses his wife of zina.
وقد رأى رجلا يزني بها.
And he had saw a man committing zina with him.
وليس له عنده 4 شهداء يشهدون معه بأنهم قد رأوا الرجل يزني بالمرأة.
And he doesn't have with him 4 witnesses that can testify that they indeed saw his woman having zina with a man.
لكنه وحده هو الذي شاهد هذا الشيء.
But he by himself is the one that observed this thing.
فإذا ادعى هذا الشيء إن اعترفت أقيم عليه الحد رجمت الحجار حتى تموت.
So if he claims this thing, if she confesses, then the punishment should be established against her and she should be stoned to death.
فإن أنكرت فإنه يدعى للملاعنة.
So, but if she were to deny this, then in this situation they are called to doing a mula'ana.
وما هي الملاعنة؟
And what is this mula'ana?
يشهد 4 شهادات هو وحده عن 4 شهادات. فيقول
He testifies 4 testimonies, meaning he himself takes the place of 4 witnesses. So he says,
يقول أشهد بالله العظيم أشهد بالله العظيم أشهد بالله العظيم أشهد بالله العظيم أني قد رأيتها تزني.
So he would say, I bear witness by Allah al-Azim, I bear witness by Allah al-Azim, I bear witness by Allah al-Azim, I bear witness by Allah al-Azim that I have indeed seen her committing zina.
ويقول في الخامسة وأن لعنة الله عليه يقصد نفسه إن كان من الكاذبين.
And he would say in the 5th that may the curse of Allah be upon him, meaning upon himself, if he, I'm sorry, may the curse of Allah be upon him if he was lying.
ثم يقام عليه الحد فترجم بالحجارة.
And then in this situation the punishment should be established against her, so she would be stoned.
إلا في حالة واحدة.
Except in one situation.
تكون هي أيضا مستعدة للقسم أنها ما فعلت وأنه كاذب.
That she is prepared to testify that or swear that she hasn't done it and he is a liar.
فتقول أشهد بالله العظيم أشهد بالله العظيم أشهد بالله العظيم أشهد بالله العظيم إنه كاذب.
So she would say, I testify by Allah al-Azim, I testify by Allah al-Azim, I testify by Allah al-Azim, I testify by Allah al-Azim that he is a liar.
وتقول في الخامسة وأن غضب الله عليها على نفسها تقول تدعو على نفسها بالغضب إن كان زوجها من الصادقين لما ادعوا بأنها زنت.
And then she would say in the fifth one that may the curse of Allah be upon her, meaning she would make this dua against herself, if her husband was from the truthful individuals with regards to that which he accused her with of committing zina.
وحينئذ يفرق بينهما إلى الأبد ما في رجعة.
And then in this situation they are to be separated between forever. There is no way to take each other back.
وإذا كانت حاملا وأنكر الزوج أن يكون ما في بطنها ابن له فإنه لا ينسب له.
And if she were to be pregnant and the husband denied to claim that which was in her stomach as a child of his, then it is not attached to him in lineage.
عرفتم هذه الملاعنة ذكرناكم بها وقد ذكرناها في أول سورة النور.
And so now you all have known this mula'ana. We've reminded you about it. We indeed mentioned it in the beginning of Surah an-Noor.
الآن الأخ هشام يسأل السؤال.
And now the brother Hisham is asking a question.
يقول أيضا لو أن الزوجة رأت زوجها يزني هل يقام حكم الملاعنة بينهما؟
He says also if the wife saw her husband committing zina, can it be established this ruling of mula'ana?
الجواب no.
The answer is no.
واضح؟
Is that clear?
طيب غيره.
بارك الله فيك شيخ. كيف نجمع بين زوجة نوح عليه السلام ولوط والخبيثات للخابثين لأنه زوجات يعني أشركوا بالله.
طيب يقول كيف يعني يقول الله بأن الطيبات الطيبين مع أن نوح عليه السلام ولوط عليه السلام كانت زوجاتهما على الكفر.
He says the question to ask is how do we understand the fact that Allah said that the good in the tayyibat or for the tayyibin in spite of the fact that Nuh and Lut both of their wives were upon kufr.
الخيانة التي كانت عند زوجة نوح ولوط كانت خيانة كفر ليست خيانة فواحش.
He says, and this is due to the betrayal of this untrustworthiness that was with the wives of Nuh and Lut. It was that of kufr, not that of indecent actions.
ثم بعد ذلك لم يستمر هذا الزواج بل فرق بينهم.
And then after that, these marriages didn't continue. Instead, they were separated between them.
ثم بعض العلماء فسر الطيبات للطيبين يعني الكلمات الطيبات يستحقها الطيبون.
He says, and then also some of the ulama, they interpret this verse to mean الطيبات للطيبين, meaning the good statements are for the good people.
الطيبون للطيبات يعني الرجال الطيبون يستحقون الكلمات الطيبات.
And then the طيبون للطيبات are meaning that the good men, they deserve or are entitled to these good statements.
كذلك الخبيثات والخبيثين يعني الكلمات الخبيثات يستحقها الخبيثون.
And likewise, the khabithat lil khabithin, meaning these bad statements or bad words are deserved or belonging to, or they deserve to belong to these bad individuals.
والخبيثون من الناس للخبيثات الكلمات الخبيثات.
And the bad or the wretched people from the bad individuals from the people, they are the ones that deserve and are entitled to these wretched statements from the people.
طيب غيره.
I have two questions, one for myself and one from the States. My question is, with the women who reach the old age, maybe somebody still is interested in marrying them. Should they put their clothes off or keep them on? Or maybe she's old, but she's still interested in marriage. The same thing.
ربما يكون الرجل يريد أن يتزوج بها فهل يلبسن حينئذ ثيابهن وكذلك إذا كانت هي راغبة في الزواج فهل عليها أن يلبسن عليهن أن يلبسن ثيابهن في هذه الأمثلة. He said the question that he asked, the first question with regards to the qawa'id from the women, the older women, maybe somebody would want to marry them. So in this situation, is it necessary that they wear their clothes? And likewise, maybe they might have the desire to marry. So in this situation, likewise, is it necessary for them to re-wear their clothes that we described? And
الله عز وجل قال والقواعد من النساء اللاتي لا يرجون نكاحا ما لها أمل في الزواج لا ترغب في الزواج ولا الناس يرغبون فيها هذه الذي ايش قال فلا جناح عليهن أن يضعن ثيابهن.
He says Allah Azza wa Jalla, he says the translation of it is the qawa'id from the women who don't have hope for marriage, meaning they don't have hope to get married or any desire to do so, nor do the people, nor is there any hope had for them that the people want to marry them. This is what Allah says.
And this is what they have a right to take roti. يضعن ثياب.
So they have the right to take off their clothes.
Barakallahu feek. Question from.
كم
All right. Question from the states. Is there proof for the permissibility of women to ask for a quota during iddah?
يقول السؤال الوارد من أمريكا هل يوجد دليل على صحة طلب المرأة الخلع يعني أثناء العدة؟
أثناء العدة؟
أيوة.
لا أعلم أن المرأة تطلب الخلع أثناء العدة. لا أعلم هذا الشيء. لكن إذا أرادت الخلع وهي على عصمته لأن المطلقة الآن خلاص ليست على عصمته.
The question asked, is there any proof with regards to the woman requesting a khula during the iddah? He says, as far as this affair, I don't know anything about a woman requesting a khula during the iddah. But as far as her requesting this khula, then she at this point in time is divorced. She's not under his isma or his yani.
ترجع لزوجها أولاً ثم بعد ذلك.
And she says if she was to be taken back by her husband, then after that she can request a khula.
وتأكد أكثر اسأل الشيخ فرج.
He said, and if you want to be more sure, then ask Sheikh Faraj.
رشيد.
يا فضيلة الشيخنا بارك الله فيك. سؤال من أمريكا. What advice do you have for a woman who wants a righteous zawj who is studious and financially stable, but all the men that are presented to her are the exact opposite?
يقول بارك الله فيكم يا شيخنا ما نصيحتكم لامرأة ترغب في زوج يعني صالح يعني متمكن يعني في حياته بالمال واشياء هكذا لكن كلما قدم لها على العكس.
نعم من حق أي إنسان أن يطلب ما هو أكمل.
He said, the question asked, what advice do you have for a woman who wants a husband who is righteous as well as financially stable, but everybody presented to her as the opposite? The Shaykh Hafidhullah, he said, from the rights of a person is that he requests that which is the more complete.
فتطلب من هو أكثر ديانة وأكثر استقامة وأكثر علما وأكثر مالا.
So yeah, they would request the individual who is more complete in their diyana or their worship and in their uprightness and in their righteousness and in their wealth as well.
ولها أن تصبر حتى يعني تجد بغيتها وطلبها.
And so she has the right, she has the ability to be patient until she finds that what she's searching for.
وربما بعد صبر طويل ستكتشف بأن هذا الأمر غير متوفر.
And after maybe having long patience, it will become uncovered that this thing that is being searched is not something that is accomplishable.
فتبقى تتنازل عن بعض الشروط، بعض المواصفات اللي كانت في ذهنها.
So she will start to now back off of some of the conditions and some of the qualities that she had in her mind.
وهذا أيضا في حق الرجال أيضا نريد واحدة بمواصفات كاملة.
And this is also likewise with regards to the men. They want an individual that has all of these complete qualities.
ينتظر حتى يقتنع بأن إيش هذا غير متوفر، فيبقى يتنازل حتى يأخذ شيء ما كتب الله له.
So they can wait until it becomes clear that this is something that might not be accomplishable. So then they can back down off of certain conditions that they used to request.
يقال أن هناك شاب ذكر شروطا طويلة لوالدته أن تبحث له بهذه المواصفات.
It's been said that there was a young man who mentioned to his mother a long list of qualities that he wanted to look for that was necessary to be present in the woman he was going to marry.
فذكر ما يقارب 15 شرطا أو وصفا أن تكون كذا وكذا 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 وكذا. قائمة طويلة.
So he mentioned that which was close to 15 conditions or characteristics that needed to be in the woman. She got to have this and this and this, a long list.
أمه ذهبت تبحث وتسأل تعبت ما وجدت.
He said his mother went out to go ask and look. She became exhausted. She couldn't find.
وكلما راجع والدته قالت ما وجدت.
So every time she would go back to her son, she would say, I couldn't find.
قال إذن نلغي هذا الشرط.
And so he said, we'll remove this condition.
ابحثي بغير هذا الشرط.
So now look for everyone without this condition.
بحثت أيضا ما وجدت.
So she went to look and she didn't find it.
هذا الشرط بعد.
He says,
نلغي هذا الشرط.
so we'll move off this condition.
فما كلما يعني مر عليه الزمن ألغى شرطا حتى انتهت الشروط.
He says so as all the while time passed on him, he would remove one condition until he removed all the conditions.
فبقي شرط واحد.
And so there was only one condition left.
قال يا أمه أريد أنثى لا أريد أتزوج رجل.
He said, oh my mother, I want a woman, I don't want to marry a man.
فهكذا الأخت التي وضعت شروط كثيرة ربما تتنازل آخر شيء تقول أريد رجلا.
So maybe like this, the sister, she had a whole bunch of conditions. After a while, she'll back down and back off of them until she says, I just want a man.
البشر ليسوا كالصناعات الحديثة.
Meaning the human beings are not like these modern products and inventions and things like that.
الصناعات الحديثة ممكن تقول أنا أريد الحجم الفلاني.
So these new products and things like that, or these current products, it's possible that you can say, I want it to be in this shape,
واللون الفلاني.
and this color,
ومثلا الشكل الفلاني.
and this or this size, this color, this shape.
فربما يصنع لك كما تريد.
And so it's possible that they'll produce it for you the way that you want.
وربما أيضا لا يتمكنوا من ذلك.
And maybe they might not even be able to do that.
لكن البشر
But human beings,
قد تجد زوجة فيها الوصف الفلاني لكن نقص الوصف الفلاني.
you might find a wife that has such and such qualities, but she's also negligent with these qualities.
قد تجدها متدينة لكن غير جميلة.
You might find her being righteous, but not beautiful.
قد تجدها جميلة لكنها غير مسلمة.
You might find her being beautiful, but not a Muslim.
قد تجدها غنية لكن غير جميلة.
You might find her being rich, but not beautiful.
قد تجدها غنية لكن غير متدينة.
You might find her being beautiful, rich, but not righteous.
قد تجدها متدينة وجميلة وغنية لكنها كبيرة بالسن.
You might find her being beautiful and righteous and wealthy, but at the same time old in age.
قد تجدها مثلا المواصفات التي تريد لكنها مثلا سبق لها الزواج وأنت تريد واحدة غير متزوجة من قبل.
You might find her with all the qualities that you want, but she's someone who has been previously married, and you wanted someone who was never married before.
أو واحدة عندها أولاد.
Or you might find one that has children.
أو واحدة جميلة لكن أخلاقها سيئة.
Or you might find one that's beautiful, but she has bad qualities and manners.
صعب جدا أن تجتمع كل المواصفات التي يرغب فيها الإنسان.
It's very hard to gather up all the qualities that an individual would be desiring.
ففي ناس غير مقتنع بها يقول لا أريدها كذا 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 يضع كل الشروط.
But there's people who are not convinced or satisfied with this, so they say, no, she got to be like this, 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 and they mention all of these conditions.
ثم ينصدم بالواقع.
And then they crash, then they're crashed into reality.
فيبدأ يتنازل شيئا فشيئا حتى يأخذ الشيء الذي كتبه الله له.
And so they start to back down off of thing after the next until they back down to that which what Allah has written for them.
يقال أن هناك شاب اشترط جمالا يعني كبيرا في المرأة تكون جميلة فيها كذا وكذا وكذا في جميع أوصافها.
He said this. It's been said about a young man who said he had made conditions, vast conditions with regards to the beauty of the woman, that she had to be like this and like this and like this with regards to her beauty.
وهو ليس بجميل.
And he wasn't that beautiful.
ما في شيء من الجمال.
He didn't have any beauty.
فلما قال للشخص أنا أريد واحدة جميلة وصلها كذا وكذا وكذا.
So when he said to the person, I want one that's beautiful, and he started describing her like this and like this and like that.
قال له هل رأيت وجهك في المرآة؟
And he said to him, have you seen your face in the mirror?
فهمتم هذا؟
Did you all understand this?
يعني ماذا أنت تشترط كل هذه الشروط وأنت لا تتصل بشيء منها.
So it's not for you to make all these conditions and you're not described with anything from them.
طيب. تفضل.
بالنسبة لأولي الإربة من الرجال هل هم فقط الذين قلنا بأن يكون مجبوب أو بدون قصيتين أو حتى الذين كبروا في السن حتى لا يلقوا ما عندهم شهوة فقط؟
لا الذي لا شهوة له يعني إما مخصي أو مجبور. أما كبير بالسن يعني هو لا يستطيع أن يمارس لكنه يشتهي يعرف العورات هذاك ما يعرف.
وكذلك في المرأة يكون مثلا عندنا في أمريكا بعض الناس يفهمون أنه محدد معين القواعد مثلا إذا صار انقطع حيضها فهي
لا ليست القواعد يعني قد ينقطع حيض المرأة عمرها 50 سنة لكن ما زالت ترغب في الزواج لكن تكون طاعنة في السن ولا رغبت في الزواج لا هي ترغب في الزواج ولا الناس رغبت يتزوجون.
The first question I asked was with regards to the ulul irba or the men غير ulul irba, the men who don't have desire from the men who don't have desire. Is it just the one who has his been castrated, whether from the shaft or the genitals, or is it also the men who don't have desire? He says no, the men who don't have irba, or the men who have been castrated from the genitals, the genitals or the shaft. And he says, and as far as the other one, the old man, he says, then this individual, he might not be able to perform his desires, he might not be able to practice his desires, but he still has them. And then the second question was about the qawaid from the women. Sometimes in America they understand that there's this certain age that when the woman's period ends, then she now becomes from this qaida or this old woman. Is this the case? He says no. The old woman is that we said the woman's period might end at 50, but she might still have a desire to get married. As we said, the qawaid from the women, the older ones from these old women are those who there's no hope for them to get married, nor do they have any hope for themselves. They don't have any desire to get married, nor does anyone desire to marry them.
أخذت سؤالين. أنت أخذت السؤالين.
من النساء.
من النساء. خاف من النساء أنت.
He said you're scared of the women.
لا معقول. أول مرة أشوف واحد ما يخاف من النساء.
He said this is unbelievable. It's the first time I've seen one person who's not scared of the women.
النساء يخوفنا.
He said the women scare us.
طيب تفضل.
Okay. Barakallahu feekum ya Sheikh. Can you please advise the best way to interact with people who don't accept the advice? They come and listen, but they don't accept the advice, and they continue to just do whatever they want to do. Should you cut them off, or what do you do?
بارك الله فيكم يا شيخنا. يعني هل يمكنك أن تنصحنا بالنسبة لمن لا يقبل النصيحة؟ يعني يجي يستمع لكن لا ينقاد بالنصيحة ويذهب ينصرف يفعل ما يشاء. كيف نتعامل معهم؟ هل نهجرهم ونقطعهم وماذا نفعل؟ The questioner asked, Barakallahu fikum ya Shaykhana, can you give us advice with regards to the individuals who don't accept the advice given to them? They might come and listen to it, but they don't obey the advice that's been presented to them, and they continue to do that which they wanted to do. So how do you advise us with regards to these people? Should we cut them off and boycott them, or what should be the interaction with them?
لا تنقطع النصيحة.
He says this giving the advice is not something that can be cut off.
أول وأنت تنصح هل لك أجر أو لا؟
He said, first of all, when you're giving this advice, do you get rewarded or not?
فكيف تنقطع عن الأجر؟ عن أمر فيه أجر كيف تنقطع؟
So how can you cut off an action that you're getting rewarded from it?
فأنت لازم تعرف ما دام أنت مستمر بالنصيحة أجرك مستمر. إذا انقطعت عن النصيحة انقطع أجرك.
So it's necessary that you know that as long as you were continuing in giving this advice, then your reward is continuing. When you cut off giving this, then likewise your reward is cut off.
فأنت تنصح لهدفين اثنين.
So you give advice for two reasons.
الهدف الأول حتى تأخذ أجر.
The first of them is so you can take the reward.
الهدف الثاني حتى ينتصح المنصوح.
And likewise, the second affair is in order that the one being advised can receive the advice.
فإذا لم ينتصح المنصوح.
So if the one who was being advised doesn't receive the advice,
لا يعني أن أجرك سينقطع. ستستفيد من ناحية الأجر.
that doesn't mean that your reward will get cut off. Your reward will be continuing.
ثم هذا المنصوح مع الوقت لعله ينتصح.
And likewise, this one being advised, maybe after time, he will receive the advice.
لذلك النصيحة تحتاج إلى صبر.
So for that reason, advice necessitates having patience.
لا يمكن الإنسان يعني الناس بدرجة واحدة بقبول النصيحة. يتفاوتون. في ناس ينتصح من أول كلمة، في ناس ينتصح بعد 100 كلمة.
He says, so the people with regards to receiving advice aren't on the same level. They're different, varying. So from the people are those who receive advice at the first statement, and from them are those who won't receive it until after 100 statements.
كثير من الناس نصحوه.
He said a lot of people, we advise them,
فلم ينتصح.
and they don't receive the advice.
بعد 20 30 50 سنة تذكر النصيحة واستفاد منها.
After 20, 30, 50 years, they remember the advice and then they're benefited by it.
أنت ما تعلم هذه النصيحة سيستفيد منها أم لا.
So you don't know if this advice that was given, are they going to benefit by it or not?
ولست أنت مطالب شرعا أن تصحوا أو لم ينتصحوا.
And you're not requested أن تنصحوا أو لا تنصحوا.
أنت غير مطالب شرعا أن تصح يعني استفاد من النصيحة ولم يستفد.
He said, and you're not religiously responsible if he benefits from the nasiha or doesn't benefit from the nasiha.
لكن لماذا أنت لا ترجع الأمر التقصير فيك أنت أيها الناصح؟
But why don't you put the affair back to being that the deficiency is in you with regards to the one giving the advice?
يمكن أنت ما تعرف تنصح.
Maybe you don't know how to give advice.
يمكن أسلوبك خطأ في النصيحة.
Maybe your etiquette and the way that you did it was mistaken in giving advice.
يمكن ما عندك حجة وعلم في النصيحة.
Maybe you didn't have evidences and knowledge with regards to the advice.
يمكن ما تختار الأوقات المناسبة للنصيحة.
Maybe you didn't choose the appropriate times to give the advice.
يمكن ما تضرب الأمثلة للمنصوح.
Maybe you didn't set the examples for the one who you were giving the advice to.
ربما لا تنوع أنت في أسلوب النصيحة.
Maybe you didn't vary in the way that you gave the advice.
تارة تدعوه يعني بلطف، تارة بمثلا موعظة ترفع صوتك، تارة مثلا تهديه هدية.
Sometimes you give him advice with compassion and softness, sometimes with the maw'idah by raising your voice, and sometimes you would give him a gift and a gift.
لماذا لا مثلا تختار شخص آخر لينصحه؟
Why didn't you, for example, choose another person to give him advice?
يعني بعض الناس يقول هذا الشخص بالذات ما يسمع منه.
Some people would say this person specifically, I'm not taking that from him.
كثير من الناس ما يسمع من أبيه النصيحة.
So a lot of people don't take the advice of their father.
قد يكون أبوه ينصح الناس والناس يستفيدون من نصائحه.
Maybe his father would advise the people, and the people all take the benefit from his advice.
إلا ابنه بالذات ما يسمع منه.
Except his son specifically, he doesn't listen to him.
فهذا ممكن يكلم ناس آخرين حتى ينصحوا ابنه.
So this individual is possible he can speak to other people in order that they can speak to his son to advise him.
أنا سأقول كلاما قد تتعجب من ذلك.
I'm going to say some statements that you might be amazed with.
أكثر الناس لا تقبل النصيحة.
Most of the people won't say advice.
والتقصير في الناصح لا في المنصوح.
I'm sorry, most of the people won't. Most of the people that don't accept the advice, the deficiency is the one giving the advice, not the one that's being advised.
كثير من الناس ما يعرف ينصح أصلا.
A lot of people don't know how to give advice to begin with.
ما عنده أسلوب في النصيحة.
They don't have a good manner in delivering advice.
ما يختار الوقت المناسب للنصيحة.
They don't choose the suitable times for giving advice.
فلذلك الناس تنفر منه.
So for that reason, the people flee from him.
ثم قد يبتليك الله عز وجل.
And then maybe Allah might try you, Azza wa Jal,
بأن إنسان أمامك إنسان لا يسمع النصيحة.
by putting an individual in front of you that just won't listen to advice.
أما سؤالك هل نهجره؟
As far as your question, should we boycott them?
الهجران يعني هو أسلوب لتأديب المنصوح.
He said this boycotting is an etiquette or a manner from a manner of the ways of etiquette of teaching etiquette to the one who's been advised.
يمكن بعض الناس يتمنى أن تهجره.
Maybe some people wish that you just boycott them.
لا يريد منك النصيحة، فإذا تهجره يقول هذا هو المطلوب.
He said they don't want any advice from you, so when you boycott, he said this is what I've been waiting for.
وفي ناس إذا هجرته زاد شره.
And some people, if you were to boycott them, their evil would increase.
وهجرانك له تسليما للشياطين. سلمت للشياطين.
And you're boycotting him and submitting him or giving him off to the shayateen.
وتحتاج إلى حكمة.
So you need wisdom.
إذا كان من الأفضل أن تهجره هجره.
If that which was better that you were to boycott him, then boycott him.
قد يكون هذا الهجر مؤقت.
And sometimes this boycotting might be for a temporary time.
وقد يطول وقد يقصر حسب الحاجة.
And it might be long and it might be short due to the need that is found.
الدعاة يعني نادرون وقلة الذين يجدون النصيحة.
He said the du'at are very rare and low, the ones who are good at giving advice.
طيب غيره. رشيد أخذت سؤالك.
You took a question already.
وهشام أخذت سؤالك.
Hisham.
باقي ساجد وأبو سليم وآدم ثم فينيش. أوكي؟ يلا أبو سليم.
سؤال ثاني.
سؤالنا.
جزاك الله خير بارك الله فيك ما شاء الله. First is I don't know exact wording of the hadith, but it refers to the person being a door, stopping people from Islam. Can you explain that the hadith?
Stopping people from Islam?
Yeah, being a deterrent, people become.
يقول هو لا يحفظ الحديث نصا لكن يعني كأنه في معناه أنه الرجل يكون باب يصد الناس عن الإسلام. بعض الناس يكون بابا أو شيء يصد الناس عن الإسلام.
نعم في ناس مفاتيح الخير منهم مغاليق الخير.
He says, yeah, there's some people that are the keys to good and some people that lock good off and they're the keys to bad.
No.
The second one is he explained the second hadith in Bukhari has to do with the picture maker. The person who draws a picture, and this is from the U.S. They're making there's a similitude between the person who's doing the picture and the using of the cameras. Can you explain if they're the same or they're different?
يكون هذا السؤال الثاني في الموارد من أمريكا بالنسبة للمصورين يعني بعض الناس يقيسون المصورين على الفوتوغرافي هذا هل هم في نفس الحكم أو هل بينهم فرق؟
أكثر العلماء على أن التصوير كله حرام.
The majority of the ulama on the fact that picture taking or tasweer, all of it is haram.
حتى لو تغرافيا.
even photographing.
ومن أهل العلم يقول هذا ليس بالتصوير المحرم، إنه هو كالمرآة كيف تعكس الصورة.
And from this, the people of knowledge of those that say that this is not from the tasweer, that is haram, instead this is like the mirror, the same way that it reflects the image.
النساء لا يجوز تصوير النساء لغير ضرورة.
Women, it's not permissible to do this tasweer with regards to women without any necessity.
والرجال والمناظر الطبيعية لا يجوز الإسراف في التصوير، تضييع الأموال وتضييع الأوقات.
And as far as he says, and as far as with men, then and the things that are permissible in nature and things like this, then it's not permissible to photograph them in a way that will lead to being extravagant and where it's just overboard with it.
فأنا أرى أن كل اقتصار على الحاجة هو الأفضل والأسلم للدين.
So I see that persons restrict themselves to that which is needed and has needed it. It's more protective for their religion. It's better for their religion.
ساجد.
I have two questions. The first question is, can the Sheikh elaborate on this statement, man tattaba rukhsal ulama faqat tazandaq? And if this is the case with the scholars, what about taking strange opinions of non-scholars? This is the first question.
السؤال هو أولا هل يمكنكم أن تشرح لنا معنى قول العلماء من تتبع رخص العلماء فقد تزندق، وإذا كان هذا هو الحال في اتباع رخص العلماء فكيف بحال من هو ليس بأهل العلم أصلا اتباع أقوالهم؟ هذا السؤال الأول.
يعني المقصود من تتبع رخص العلماء تزندق، يعني أنه كلما وجد مسألة خلافية اختار ما يوافق هواه.
He said that which is intended by the statement that whoever follows the allowances given by the ulama, then he has become a heretic, meaning that every time he finds an issue that is disagreement therein, he follows that which his desires lead him to.
حتى لو علم أن القول الآخر هو الراجح وهو الذي نص عليه الدليل، لكن يقول له بما أن في عالم قال بهذا القول إذا أنا أختاره.
Even if you were to know that the other opinion was that which was stronger and that which was supported by the evidences, he says no, as long as another scholar said it, I'm going to follow it just as a way of following his desires.
في النهاية سيفقد كثير من الأحكام الشرعية ويتمسك بالأقوال الشاذة والأقوال الضعيفة.
So in the end result, he will leave a lot of the statements of the Sharia, and he will hold on to that which is strange or uncommon, and that which corresponds to his desires.
أما إذا تتبع من ليس بعالم، هذا أصلاً يعني ما تبع الحق ولا أراد أن يتبع الحق.
He says, but as far as if you to follow someone who's not an alim, then this individual to begin with, he didn't want any truth, nor did he follow the truth.
لو كان إنسان له طفل مريض.
So if a person had a sick child,
فذهب به إلى الطبيب.
so he went to the doctor.
فاكتشف أن هذا الطبيب طبيب بيطري لعلاج الحيوانات.
He said, so he found out that
علاج الحيوانات.
he's a veterinarian basically.
هل يقدم ولده لعلاجه؟
Will he present his child to be treated by him?
لماذا؟
Why not?
دكتور.
He's a doctor.
غير متخصص.
Because this is not his
وإن
specialty.
كان دكتور غير متخصص.
Even if he was a doctor, this is not his specialty.
هو يعالج الحيوانات ما يعالج الأطفال.
And he treats animals. He doesn't treat humans or children.
لو كان الدكتور يعالج الآدميين.
But if let's say the doctor treats humans.
لكن أنك تتوجع من عينك وهو طبيب أسنان.
But you're getting harm in your eye, and he treats teeth.
خليه.
He said, let him try.
لو ذهبت عينا واحدة تبقى ثانية إن شاء
If you
الله.
lose one eye, you got the other one, inshallah, man.
لا ترضى ذلك.
Well, you're not happy with this, are you?
لو مثلا تعطل عندك الهاتف.
Maybe if your phone breaks,
أنت تذهب إلى مصلح سيارات.
do you go to the one who fixes cars?
هو يجيد تصلح السيارات.
He's good at fixing cars.
لكن لا يعرف شيء عن الهواتف.
But you don't know nothing about the phones.
خليه يجرب تراي.
Let him try.
ما ترضى.
You're not happy with this.
فكيف الإنسان إذا جاء إلى مسائل الدين يسأل أي إنسان؟
So how about an individual if he comes with regards to the affairs of the religion, he just goes and asks anybody?
ما يصلح.
This is not suitable.
هذا السؤال. كم سؤال؟
هذا
واحد.
The second question is that we have some people who are enthusiastic to dawah to non-Muslims. So they get the common people involved in reading the Bible and reading the shubhat of the non-Muslims, and then they start debating. Common people start debating with the priests and so on and so forth. So what can the Shaykh advise?
بارك الله فيكم. بعض الناس يوجد عندهم رغبة في مناقشة أهل الكتاب. فيفعل ماذا يفعلون يعني يذهبون إلى بعض العوام ويشغلونهم بقراءة الكتاب المقدس مثلا حتى يعني يعرفون شبههم وحتى يعني يناقشون مع هؤلاء أهل الكتاب وهم من العوام أصلا. فهل عندكم نصيحة لأمثال هؤلاء؟
هذا ما يجوز الفعل أبدا.
He says this is not permissible to be done ever.
قراءة الشبهات والرد عليها هذه لازم واحد إنسان متمكن.
He said the reading of these unambiguous matters and refuting them, this is something that is to be done by an individual who is established and firm.
ولا يجوز الإنسان أن يخاطر بدينه.
And it's not permissible for an individual to be reckless or dangerous with his religion.
ويعرض قلبه للشبهات.
And to present his heart to doubtful affairs.
الدجال الذي يخرج آخر الزمان.
The Dajjal that will come out at the last time.
سمعت به؟
Did you hear about it?
النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام يقول من سمع به فلينأ عنه يعني يبتعد عنه ما قال فليذهب إليه.
The Prophet ﷺ says whoever hears about him then let him stay far away from him, meaning let him go away from him, not go close to him.
فاستدل العلم بهذا.
So the people of knowledge have used this as a proof to show
على أن المشروع في حق المسلم أن يبتعد عن الشبهات لا أن يذهب إليها.
that which is legislated with regards to the Muslims that he stay away from the shubuhat, not that he go to them.
السؤال الأخير.
نعم الشيخ أحسن الله إليك. ذكرت منهجك في تحفيظ القرآن تكرير 30 مرات صح؟ طيب في السور الطويل
تقسمها.
قسمها يعني ربع
حسب يعني حسب إمكانك.
The brother Barakallahu Fi, he mentioned the fact that the Shaykh Habibullah mentioned his etiquette with regards to memorizing the Quran, that he repeats the surah 30 times. He said, with regard to the long surahs, what do? He said, you break them down. He said, you break them down to a four. He said, you break them down to that which is suitable to you based on your situation.
أنت اقرأها 30 40 50 حسب قدرتك.
He says you read 30, 40, 50 based on your ability.
وحسب سهولة المقطع صعوبته.
And likewise, based on the ease of that portion or the hardness of it.
في بعض الصفحات في القرآن تحتاج تقرأ 100 مرة، في بعض الصفحات 10 مرات.
He said there's pages of the Quran you need to read them 100 times, and there's other ones that you need to just read them 10 times.
المهم كلما كررت كلما كان أفضل.
But that which is important is that the more you repeat, the better it is.
والأجر محفوظ كلما تكرر الأجر مستمر.
And the reward will be preserved for you. So every time you repeat, your reward continues.
الآن في النهاية نعتذر منكم لأي تقصير حصل.
He says, and in the end, we apologize for any deficiency that occurred from us.
نراكم إن شاء الله في مناسبة أخرى.
And we'll see you in another opportunity, inshallah.
الحمد لله أولا وآخرا الله باطنا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.